How many times have you ever experienced this? I didn't know you offered that. Where are we at with this project? I didn't know you needed this. Right? Ever heard those questions, right, from a customer? Those are like painful to hear when I hear them. So how do you avoid that? Well, that's where the CSM or customer success manager comes into play. The project manager is focused on the success of the project. The customer success manager is focused on the success of the customer. It's like the advocate for your customer, for your client. Your customer, they're a brand new customer. They don't know everything about you. If you don't have one, chances are you are the CSM. You've been playing this role. Usually it's the business owner that's really caring and thinking about, hey, how can I make my customer super, super happy and fully utilize all of our resources. So that is a customer success manager. Now you're constantly thinking like, man, I can't wait until I get a CSM so I don't have to do all this stuff. When you're doing all this stuff, guess what you're not doing? You're not doing marketing. You're not doing sales. You're not building up your brand. You're not scaling your business. So your CSM helps you on the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month. It sets that cadence. So first 90 days, onboarding a CSM or a customer success manager. So quick intro. Who the heck is this Asian dude on here? I'm the founder of Design Source Media. It's a web agency and a founder of DSM Talent. It's a agency that helps other marketing and video agencies find talent in the Philippines. I've been running my agency for over 13 years now. Team of 14. I'm a husband, father of 3 young kids. So that's a little bit about me. And so, first question for everyone, what do you think are the challenges for a new customer success manager? I guess before even this, does everyone know what a customer success manager is? So, is everyone familiar with a project manager?
Yes.
Okay. Is everyone familiar with an account exec?
Sure.
Okay. Everyone familiar with, let's see, I guess a closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a
Sure.
producer. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So think of like all these roles, but wrapped up into one. Okay.
Wow.
Not necessarily like in each of these roles, they're still necessary, right? Like for example, for very, very large projects, you would still have both a project manager and a CSM together. But think of a CSM, I mean, literally by its words, right? Customer success versus a project manager. The, the project manager is focused on the success of the project. The customer success manager is focused on the success of the customer, right? So think of the mindset of, all right, it's like the advocate for your customer, for your client. And so your customer, they're a brand new customer. They don't know everything about you. How many times have you ever experienced this? I didn't know you offered that. Oh, where are we at with this project? Oh, I didn't know you needed this. Right? Ever heard those questions, right, from a customer? Those are like painful to hear when I hear them. So how do you avoid that? Well, that's where the CSM or customer success manager comes into play. Everyone here, if you don't have one, chances are you are the CSM. You've been playing this role, right? Someone got and usually it's the business owner that's really, caring and thinking about, hey, how can I make my customer super, super happy and fully utilize all of our resources, right? And even refer. Yes, Juan. Question?
Facts. Nothing but facts, sir.
Thank you. Um, So that is a customer success manager, right? So now now like cat's out of the bag. Now you're constantly thinking like, man, I can't wait, right? I can't wait until I get a CSM so I don't have to do all this stuff. Because when when you're doing all this stuff, guess what you're not doing? You're not doing marketing, you're not doing sales, right? You're not building up your brand, right? You're not scaling your business. So your CSM helps you on the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month. It sets that cadence. Okay. But the challenges when you bring on a new CSM, here are some of the challenges. They need to understand your product or service, managing customer expectations, building relationships with customers and teams, and learning all your internal processes, if they even exist right now. I'm sure they exist. It might be in your head, right? So any questions so far? Does it make sense now? CSM wise? Who?
Yeah, it's definitely a great understanding of a very key role. Something I've been trying to hone in as a while, and like you say it as well too. It's like this is one of the many hats to build that customer and client relationship, and you're hitting it spot on.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Who has someone in the organization that touches on some of these points? They may not be called a CSM at the moment, but who does some of this work already for you? Anyone here? Or are you all doing it yourself?
For me, it's project dependent, but if I were to say the initial aspect, it's a lot of it myself.
So, okay, so a quick survey then, a quick poll, I guess. Can everyone put a number on how big your team is? Okay, and if it's just you, just put one. Okay, if you have others, just put the number. And if you can share, if you don't mind sharing, who are if you have more than one outside of yourself, who are they? See, Cortland, sorry if I butcher your your names. Three, and Redville and Lucas is three. Co-founder, designer. Okay. Yo, what kind of designer?
Graphic designer.
Graphic designer. Okay, got it. Producer, motion designer. Okay, okay. And that's actually quite common. I did it myself when I first started. I didn't think about hiring, like an executive assistant, a virtual assistant, and then a CSM for this role. This is more so a few steps in, but it's still crucial and critical today to learn about it, understand that this will be two steps or three steps out. Okay. My recommendation still from a hiring like sequence would be still an EA, but very common when you first start, or a lot of business owners when they first start, like, hey, I need help doing the work that I've been doing. Okay, got it. So they usually hire what I would call technicians. So it would be the designer, the video editor, the social media manager, right? All these are technicians. But anyways, thank you. Thank you all for sharing. Gives me a better idea of kind of where everyone's at. And then I can kind of tweak my examples and analogies to better fit everyone. All right, and also all the things that you're learning today is very applicable to all of the other hires too. You'll see some overlap. And another thing to think about is that, as I mentioned before, your first hire really should be an executive assistant. If you do not have one, hire that EA, and that EA can be trained to be a CSM in the future. Okay. Uh, but you can see here, here's some stats. Employees with structured onboarding are 58% more likely to stay long term. That's super critical, having good onboarding. CSMs impact renewal rates and customer retention. Early engagement is critical. Has anyone worked at a company before and didn't had a terrible onboarding experience? They just threw you in the deep end and say, hey, good luck. Your first day, just take care of these tasks or this work. I have no idea. Anyone experience that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Has anyone experienced a good onboarding experience?
This one, this one's been pretty good. This agency you won.
Good, good, good. Good to hear. Good to hear. So yeah, onboarding is really, really important. So now for us, we break it out. So this is all for our hires. We break out into three phases. And the three phases are um, learning and immersion, execution and contribution, and then optimization and impact. So you can just look at the first words: learning, execution, optimization. One mistake business owners make, first day, first week, even the first month, they're like, "Hey, yeah, you're the new hire. What new ideas do you have? Can you improve our process right now?" Well, I'm still learning about the people here and the clients here, and I need to understand your processes first before I can give you recommendations, right? And I'm sure most people want to, but they're not ready for it. So that's why you have to pace and structure it in this order. So phase one, first 30 days. What does that look like? Setting the foundation, week one. So part of setting the foundation, There's the team introduction. For us, we introduce the new hire to our different departments and leaders based on each of the departments. So for us, this is more on on our agency, our web agency. We have our design department, development department, our customer success team department, and then accounting, HR, and marketing. So they get a quick run through, an intro. They don't have to learn every single department, what's going on yet. Um, this is a quick intro. Yes, question. And then understanding our clients, right? Just a high overview, and then start shadowing, whenever they can with colleagues. This is usually part of first week, right? Colleagues and leaders, right? We're not asking the individual to like start doing client work. It's just shadow us, get comfortable. But it doesn't mean they're just doing that. There's a bunch of other work internally and training that they're doing the first week. So I'll continue. Introduction to the core tools. So these are some of the core tools that we use, like the CRM would be our Smart Suite and a mixture of high level project management tool. We use Smart Suite. And then I know most of the team members here or most of the agency members. And what agency you recommends is Notion. So Notion may be your project management tool. Communication platforms like Slack, email, right? And then also AI, right? This is like a necessary piece now. So really getting a good understanding of ChatGPT and some other AI tools and how to prompt and stuff like that for as part of the foundation of core tools. Methodologies. So who here knows what inbox zero is? Does
Mm.
anyone?
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Christine.
No, I mean, other than that's a goal, instead of having 3 million emails, I'd love to have inbox zero.
Anyone else?
That's not
Yes.
it. That's not
Isn't that
it.
a Dan Martell thing?
But I think Dan Martell does talk about it, but he didn't invent inbox zero. Yeah.
Okay, I said I've heard him. At least he's the one who I heard talk about it. But it's the idea. It's like not zero inbox, but inbox zero.
So it's similar. Like Christine, you're correct. Just like just like you, I had like a bajillion
Yeah.
emails, unread emails. Okay. Like
Yes.
right
Yes.
now, I have 7 unread
Nice.
in my
But is
inbox.
that because you've put them all into folders so that they come in and they immediately go,
Correct.
okay, so
Correct.
how many folders do you have where there are unread emails?
3. So no, they're all read. They're all
Oh,
processed.
wow.
So
Impressive.
so how inbox zero works is that so this is literally my inbox right now. So as emails
Wow.
come in, um, either myself, like before I would do it myself, but now my EA does it for me. She would review all these emails and either archive it if it's junk or categorize it in one of these categories: action items,
Mm,
awaiting reply, or read through.
nice.
Every single person in this company, in our agency, learns inbox zero.
Nice.
So that's one of the methodologies. If you have 1 million emails, you have to file email bankruptcy at one point.
Yes.
So you have to look at your emails. Let's say you have like I think my record was like 40,000 unread.
Yeah. Mm,
Um, so at that point, I'm like, okay, well, I got to file bankruptcy.
yeah.
So I look, I backtrack like pretty much like maybe the past 3 months, and I stop there, and then I just basically archive the rest. Okay. And at that
Oh.
point, you move forward. Now, I'm not saying you don't delete all of it. You can still
Oh,
searchable,
oh, oh.
right? You just archive and you basically file bankruptcy, and then moving forward you're not basically like buried with 40,000 unread emails anymore. You just
That,
need to now have this habit of every single day checking your emails. So that's inbox zero. um
oh. So in my mind, because I have 300,000 and I'm pretty sure Gmail, I can't buy any more storage. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to start a new email with my new website and start fresh with,
you could or you could yeah like remove even with
I'm gonna do this
emails.
archive thing.
Yeah, do the archive
I
thing.
love that. Yeah.
And then we use I use and I train everyone in time blocking. So who's familiar with time blocking?
Mm, not enough.
Yeah, so think of it this way. I live off my calendar. I even go
Mhm.
as far as I ask my wife, "Hey, if you want to meet with me or have a date
Put it
night,
on my calendar.
send me a meeting invite." Literally send me a meeting invite, right? Like we're
Oh, that's so
as,
romantic.
yeah, I know, right? I mean, it was
Mhm.
weird at first, but it's like we've gotten to the cadence because now, with three
Nice.
kids,
For
like she
sure.
might need me to go pick up the kids
For
or
sure.
do get groceries. She sends me
Yeah.
an invite. Right? I mean,
Nope,
we
that's
talk about
brilliant.
it, right?
Brilliant.
It's not like a
Yeah.
blind invite.
Right.
Um, that way, communication is very, very clear. I
Yeah.
don't double book.
Yeah.
It helps with efficiency.
Yeah.
So if you don't know about time blocking, highly, highly recommend it.
Mhm.
And then part of week one, how to do a productive one-on-one meetings and taking notes. Okay, so those are some of the things. As part of what week one, we focus also on mindset. So, what is their love language? What is their brain type? What is their the five big five personality? And then also we start talking about leadership. And there's a really good book by John Maxwell. If you have not either read it or listened to it, highly, highly recommend it. It's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And what we do is every so it's basically 21 laws, right? Every single day we ask the individual to listen to one of the laws of leadership and talk about it. And so we go in and by 21 days later, they go through the whole book. Okay? So there's mindset. And then we go week two is deep dive into clients and services. Now we're into week two. We start studying like client pain points, expectations. We'll start writing scenarios like, hey, these are some of the pain points our clients are facing. What should we do during this time? And this is how we handle it. Um, Understanding how customer success aligns with agency revenue growth, right? Their success is our success. Sometimes, like for example, for a web project, um, the client might be experiencing, oh man, I wish we had this, or we're trying to sell this product, right, or sell this item on a particular, campaign. Well, we might suggest, what about creating a custom landing page? Start driving traffic to that custom landing page, so that way they can focus on and tracking that conversion. So, so our CSMs also do a bit of upselling during the conversations, uh, either throughout their meetings, during onboarding, during the project, or during ongoing support or ongoing, client follow-ups. And then also just higher overview, but a review client contracts, deliverables, some of the KPIs. We'll dive further into that later on in the onboarding training with our CSMs. And then, so this is more related to our one of the tools that we use. Everyone in the organization gets certified. So there's three levels: pro, expert, and consultant. By week two, they should, and sometimes it bleeds into week three. They would get certified in this tool. Any questions so far? And feel free if you have questions. You can either raise your hand, throw it in the chat, and or jump right in and just ask. Okay.
Can you tell us more about that tool?
Oh, Smart Suite. Have you ever used Airtable?
No,
Heard of Airtable? How
no,
about Google Sheets?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Think of Google Sheets, but with multiple sheets and tables and documents, but all wrapped in a project management system.
Okay.
Okay. So that is essentially what Smart Suite is.
Okay. Now, is that something that you guys recommend? You guys have it already for us, or you say,
Oh
hey,
no,
go
so this
check
is,
this out. You're going to want this.
yeah, I mean, optional. So there's different phases in your agency. If you're starting off and you don't have a large team, right? Our team's at like we're 14 people now, and we've been doing this for a very long time, and there's a lot of intricacies and complexities. Then that's why we gravitated towards Smart Suite. In the beginning, I still would recommend using something simple like Notion. It's just so freaking easy, like to navigate and use. Um, So I would recommend using Notion in the beginning, but if you want something a little more robust, I would say Smart Suite is what I would lean towards. Does that make sense?
100%. Thank you. That makes sense.
I don't want to just overwhelm everyone with a new tool because next thing you know, it's like a shiny object syndrome, right? Like, oh yeah, there's this new tool and you're spending hours. I mean, that's what happens to me, right? I spend
Totally.
days like researching and learning the new tool, but really not focusing on the important pieces of the business.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday after our 1 hour with Notion, I was like, oh Lord,
Yeah,
Lorde.
yeah.
This is going to be an associate's degree.
Yeah, right, right. So that's why like yeah, learning another tool is another layer of complexity. So baby steps, start with Notion. You can always upgrade or switch over or use both. Because Notion, there's pros and cons to both. Like for example, Notion, I would say better at organizing your SOPs and note taking versus using something like SmartSuite. So there's definitely pros and cons to each of the tools. But also keep in mind, at the end of the day, no matter how good the tool is, if you or your team doesn't use it, it's useless, right? So you have to consider that. So week three, and thank you for asking about that. So week three, internal processes and collaboration. So now we go deeper dive into each of the departments internally. So I'm just kind of giving you an insight of what we do as an agency. So each of the departments, some of our leads, and starting to understand and how to fully utilize all the resources within our organization. So for example, for you, it might be if you don't have a lot of hires, but you have contractors, that might be the same thing, right? It's like, hey, this is who you talk to, or it might be a partner or a vendor. This is who you would talk to for this information, for this access. And also learning internal processes and collaboration. This is like a snapshot of our project timeline. So this is one of the things our CSMs would do is in an email every Friday, our CSMs would give an update to our clients, all active projects, and we'll let them know like, okay, these are all the milestones. This is where we're at. Based on when this is when the launch date will be, and if has anyone experienced a client not giving you the information you need and the project starts falling behind? Anyone experience that? Or they have a last minute change. They're like, oh yeah, I can't make it today. Can we reschedule? Right? So so that kind of throws a wrench in everything, right? But then, it gets better, right? The client's not going to remember that. It's going to be like maybe a week or month later, they're going to say, hey, how come our project's not on time? How come we're not launching, right? Or how come, we don't have the video content or the campaign running by now? And they have like amnesia, right? They forget like, oh, it's because they went on vacation that month and they didn't give us approval, right? So what does the CSM do? The CSM holds them accountable. Okay. And the moment they're constantly looking at the timeline, as soon as the client says, okay, I'm sorry, I can't get this to you. I can get to you maybe next week. I have a vacation or I have some busy. Well, you know what my CSMs would do? They'll say, no problem. Thank you for letting us know. Well, because of these few days, you won't be able to get back to us. I've readjusted the timeline, the milestone. Your new launch date is now this date, right? So now the client knows, oh yeah, okay, I understand that. Or the client can say, okay, well, I don't want the launch date to be delayed. I will make sure to get this to you, or I will get one of my team members to get you approval so we can move this project forward. You see? But if you're just a business owner, we're doing this by yourself and you have no help, at the same time, you're trying to do marketing, you're trying to do sales, and you're putting other fires out. What time do you have to actually take the time, update the timeline, and respond to the customer and hold them accountable? Right? That's like the lowest on your priority list, even though it's super important. So now eventually you're going to have to pay that price. And that price is customer complaints, frustrations, and now more work buried on you. Okay. Like this is like PTSD, all right, for me. Like I've experienced all that. and I'm sharing it to you. I don't want anyone to experience that. Okay. Um, so and I'll since I already have it here, I'll give you a sneak peek. This is what this is what Smart Suite looks like, and this is how we organize our SOPs. And I did not create this. Our CSM created this. So one of our CSMs is Ina, and this is how we structure SOPs, like overview. SOP outlines the process and overview for understanding, management, and monitoring project timelines and milestones for customer success managers and so forth. This is the goal of the SOP. Access required, we don't really have much here, but step-by-step instructions of how to do it. Review timeline, identify key milestones, track progress, communicate with clients, document changes in the timeline, final review. Here's an example of the estimated timeline. Here's the FAQ. This is what every single one of our SOPs look like. Okay, from a framework outline standpoint. Don't feel like if you're not here yet, don't feel like, oh my God, I need to get there tomorrow. Remember, this is like 13 years in the making. All right, so you have time. All right. So what took me 13 years, if it takes you even a year or two, you're way ahead. So, but that's that's the nice thing, being part of Agency U, get to collaborate and network with other agency owners. You can kind of see, their workflow and their processes, and I'm sharing mine. So that way it will speed up your education, your training. So, some of the other things our CSMs would do, and this is part of week 3 in training, is to start participating in internal team meetings. We have daily morning calls. Like I'm not in the calls anymore. It's our CSMs and our technicians, our talent. So daily production call, a daily customer success team. Our CST team covers, like, for example, a daily, like, tickets that come in, customer issues, emergency. Like, let's say there's a fire. Like, for example, let's say there's a website went down, or a server went down, whatever. So these are all like part of CST. And then weekly CSM meetings with our other with our other CSMs. They have a monthly accounting meeting with our accounting team, because our CSMs also, they don't start a project until they get confirmation that the deposit is paid. Site does not get launched until the final payment is confirmed. If there are clients that are late on payment or are overdue, then it would trigger a warning, a multiple set of warnings, and ultimately we would shut down their site if they stop paying. So our CSMs would need to collaborate and talk to our accounting team, because our accounting team will let our CSMs know, like, hey, so and so, there's issues with payment, but they've talked about it. We worked out a payment schedule. It might be that, or they're not responsive. So then we need to we need to escalate this. Then our CSMs, because they have that personal relationship with our clients, last thing we want to do is like shut down their website. That's the worst thing you can do. Like shut down their website, or say, oh, well, according to the contract, right? Like relationship over at that point, right? We're trying to avoid all that. So our CSMs are constantly communicating with our clients to ensure that, but also working with our accounting team. And then also our CSMs, they act as leads in our departments. So they do one-on-ones with their respective team. So one CSM is responsible for our developers, a CSM would be responsible for our designers and so forth. So they would have one-on-ones with their team members. And then I still have one-on-ones with every single team member once a month. So every month, each team member would experience or have 2 one-on-ones, one with their direct, and then one with me as the owner. Okay, so so that's kind of how we have it set up. Okay, moving on. Week 4, first client interaction. So now this is the fun stuff, right? Now they're just trying to get into the the thick of it, and so they start assisting with the kickoff and discovery calls, the onboarding calls with the clients, and and that's, just kind of give you an idea. Here's an SOP on that. Um, Introduction, and this is, yeah, for specific needs. So it might be talking about the website care plan, the maintenance, or support requests, monthly check-ins. Just introducing um, uh, our web clients to different programs. So this is just one small piece here. And we have our SOP for onboarding. It's kind of what this looks like. So there's a pre-call preparation, scheduling kickoff and discovery calls, how to conduct the calls, um, and then there's two options of submitting tickets, and then call follow up. We always recap with an email on, based on the meeting, and then billing a verification. So we have some questions here. If they are having check-ins with designers, are they giving creative feedback, or are they strictly process experts? A mix of both. So depending on the phase that they're in, so let's say they're building out a website, if it's in the design phase, our designers would also be in the call. And so they're helping facilitate the call, but also ultimately the designers, we want our technicians, our experts to articulate and explain what's going on. Um, and then our CSMs pretty much facilitate, right, the process. But if necessary, if let's say the designer's not available, the developer's not available, then our CSMs would take over. They've been doing this long enough. They will be able to go over the design or the development or the project overall. So they're trained in both. So now moving forward, we have, oops. So client start taking notes and tracking client satisfaction scores. So this is related to our customer success team. There's a little like link where customers can in each of our tickets they can vote their satisfaction, how happy they are with resolving that ticket. And so one of our CSMs would share a screenshot on a monthly basis, like, hey, this is what January looked like. This is how happy our customers are. And this is the reason why, as soon as there's like not good ratings, our CSMs would jump into action, like, hey, what's going on, right? Is there an issue here? How can we make it better, right? And so in this case, in January, it was just an accidental click by our clients. So, any questions? Just heard a little bit of background noise. Oh, okay. Uh, Establishing early client wins, right? To build confidence for the CSM. So just trying to show them like the whole process, like site launches, getting good news from the clients. And really, as long as the CSMs follow our process and the onboarding process, the meeting cadences, the Friday updates, satisfaction score will go up and will stay up. So now going into phase two, we have execution, and then they're now contributing to our to our basically our workload. So taking ownership of customer accounts. So we start assigning small, easy accounts to the CSMs. So low risk client meetings, track and analyze client satisfaction engagement, and identify renewal and upsell opportunities. So they're still shadowing. They're talking to our other CSMs. They're talking to me, like different scenarios. We're providing suggestions and ideas, like, oh yeah, the client's asking for this. What should we do? How should we handle that? And also, one thing I didn't mention is that our CSMs do not just upsell or recommend our own services or products. We actually are trained to refer our partners. So we work with a lot of agency partners, and if let's say a client says, "Hey, we need someone that can do SEO or social media or video editing," well, we don't do it in-house. We don't offer that as a service. We don't want to be jack of all trades. So our CSMs would say, "All right, yeah, we have someone that we can recommend to you." Because again, our CSM's goal is the customer success. We want to provide the best recommendation possible. Hopefully, it's something that we can provide. If it's something we cannot provide, our CSM will recommend other options. It's better than saying, "Oh, sorry, we can't help you." Problem solving and client advocacy. So for example, it's not even much of a concern. It's like, hey, this is our client here. Finally got a hold of them today. I was worried because they weren't responding to our messages, working on videos to get us. Can you shoot me the prices for hosting with you guys? So boom, our CSM will respond to that. Here's the link to our website cure pricing. And then based on the assessment, this is their plan, and then basically these are the next steps. And they're proactively addressing churn. Anyone know what churn is? Yes, correct. Yeah, client leaving, and it's in the beginning. If you're starting your agency, it's easy, right? It's like it's in your head, like, oh, I have 3 clients, I have 5 clients, right? And um, there's not enough volume to really calculate that, and it's not really needed that much right now. But as you scale and grow, it's one of those metrics, and you're getting more volume, and you want to start measuring now, like, why are they leaving, right? But in the beginning, yeah, you're still thinking about that, and it's like really natural, like, oh man, why did the client leave? But now you want to break it into an actual report and start looking at the numbers, because now it's not just you, it's others on the team. So that's why CSM is usually not your first hire. It's usually after you have an EA, you have other technicians, and then you have a CSM to help manage the resources, manage the project, or manage the client relationship. And so now you can start tracking all these different risks, because things if you don't do that, you start losing like track and control of your own business, right? Uh, so that's managing churn, and then the other piece is escalation management, right? Know when to involve leadership. So when there's an issue that a CSM cannot handle, they'll know how to escalate it. They escalate it to upper management or executive team or their peers to handle that situation. The next piece of training is building trust and long-term client relationships. So how to build rapport and credibility with clients. So a lot of this stuff is done through one-on-ones and discussions. And I would give them suggestions of like, okay, well, if they're experiencing this, have you thought about helping them in these ways? We try to go above and beyond. There are certain things that it's technically, and sometimes it's like completely out of our scope, but we follow kind of like and try our best to follow like kind of like what would has anyone read the book by the founder of Zappos, Tony Hsieh? I think it's like the happiness book. Yeah, Delivering Happiness. Okay, it's a really nice book. Highly recommend it. And and so this is how far they go as far as customer service goes. He was with a few buddies in New York, and they were looking for food, a pizza place near them, and they were talking about customer service, and Tony said to his buddies, "Go ahead, call my team, call Zappos," and was like, "What do you mean? We're looking for a pizza place." He's like, "No, go ahead, they'll help you." So he asked them to call, and the person that answered the phone was taken back, like, we're a shoe place, but okay. So then they said, "All right, hold on 1 second, let me get back to you." So the agent put him on hold, and a few minutes later, they said, "All right, based on your location, here's the 5 closest pizza place near you." Right? That is the level of customer service, delivering happiness that Zappos does, right? So for us, it's really being more human, right? And it's like sometimes we we don't offer the service or product, um, and we, it has maybe nothing to do with what we offer. But if we can help someone, we'll do what we can to help that person. And that's kind of the same model that we ask our CSMs and everyone else in the organization to do. Okay. And so another thing is regular check-ins, and status updates to stay engaged and top of mind, just touching base. Usually our check-ins is once a month in a short email, 15-minute, we ask, hey, would you like to jump on a 15-minute call over Zoom? And, it's optional. If not, if they're busy, then we do the same next month. Phase 3. So now we're in the third month now, essentially 61 to 90-day mark. Now they're looking at optimization, right? Optimizing client reporting and data tracking. So you've been working here for 2 months now. You know our process, you know our team, you know some of our clients, right? I know it's still someone new. It feels like it's stringing from a fire hose. But as now, let's start getting into the mindset of efficiency improvements. So gaps in customer success processes and collaborate with leadership and client growth strategies. So this is the part that I'm most excited about because every single person that we bring on, I look at the individual as they each have a superpower, right? Or multiple superpowers. And by bringing them on and providing good foundational training and building that trust and comfort that they are able to share like within our organization, like that culture. So by the third month, they're much more open to like providing ideas and suggestions because there's no fear of making mistakes. There's no fear of looking stupid. They're well trained. They know what to do, and now they're now tapping into their previous experiences, their superpowers essentially, to provide improvements that our current team members. I mean, they've been doing this for months, years, right? And it's easy for us to kind of get stuck in that mindset. So that's why in the third month, that's when we start implementing this. But this is a ongoing, continuous thing. And then after that, another piece is conducting the 90-day performance review. So we have our 90-day review on performance metrics, really setting expectations, identifying their strengths, areas of improvement, and then really set goals for the next 6 months. And then some of the pieces that are KPIs to measure their success would be client retention rate, NPS scores, their upselling opportunities. Any questions regarding the onboarding before going to common mistakes? Does this make sense? Put everyone to sleep? It's like, this is too much. I'm out. So now, common mistakes, right? Common onboarding mistakes. Lack of clear expectations. New hires need a structured plan, right? Don't assume they are you. Don't assume that, oh yeah, they can read your mind. It's easy to say, but it's so hard to do, and that's why we have our 90-day onboarding document. We have all these processes written down, so that way I don't forget. No one else forgets, and it's easy for someone to just look at this and have that clear path and have that plan. Information overload, right? Too much at once can be overwhelming. Oh, yeah, we have a lot of information, a lot of training to do, and everything's like on a set cadence. Like it's timed essentially. Like on this day, we expect you to be able to learn all of this. And we look at it very carefully so it doesn't overwhelm the individual and they don't max out their capacity. So from a capacity standpoint for each person, our target is 80%. We don't want to hit 100% and we don't want to go below 80% either. Right? So it's essentially under or over utilization of your resources. Not enough customer interaction, right? CSMs need hands-on experience, right? Like imagine trying to learn how to swim, right? And the only way you learned or trying to learn was reading books, watching videos all day long, but you never jumped in the water, right? Uh, you'll end up drowning, right? No book's gonna save you, right? You gotta get hands-on experience. So CSMs, same way. They have to get a hands-on experience. Start with shadowing other CSMs, and then eventually you gotta like cut the cord, throw them in, but we're still there. Now it's flipped. We're the ones shadowing the CSMs. And one of the things I do and our other CSMs do is after the call, we do a debrief. During the call, if I'm shadowing one of our new hires and they're doing the presentation or they're doing whatever they're doing, I would take notes. And then after the call, I would send them my feedback. Here are my thoughts. These are some of the things that I would like you to work on. So it's just immediate feedback. And ignoring feedback, right? That's not good. Make sure you have regular check-ins, prevent small issues from becoming big problems. Future-proofing, your customer success team. Invest in ongoing training and mentorship for CSMs. Keep refining your onboarding based on feedback from everyone, CSMs, clients, and other team members. And then align CSMs with your agency's growth strategy. Right. Some of the things, like for example, I do some crazy requests for our team just to try to push the envelope. For example, if 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 the site takes 3 months to launch, I would ask our team, what does it take to bring the launch date to 1 week? Right. So I still remember one scenario or one story from Steve Jobs. The engineers came to him when they were working on their first iPhone. I think either iPad or iPhone. I think it's iPhone. Um, and Steve Jobs said, "Hey, go ahead. This is too big. Make it smaller." And the engineer's like, "No way, I can't." And then he took the phone and dropped it in a fish tank. And then he said, "You see the bubbles coming out of it? You can make it smaller. There's space." So, this is a little extreme, but it's as an entrepreneur, as as the leader in the organization, the visionary, you have to set that cadence and then set realistic challenges for your team. So that's where, the onboarding, the feedback, the mentorship is so important. So actionable items for everyone, right? Review your current onboarding process. Implement a structured 90-day plan for new CSMs, okay? And foster a culture of customer success and proactive engagement, and then track key metrics and continuously improve, okay? Now, this is for those that have, hires and have team members and have their EA. If you do not have an EA yet, I would start off with an EA first and then start working on this with your EA to help you, okay? So that's what I recommend. Any questions regarding the action plan? Okay, well, take that. Question for everyone else. What's one key takeaway you'll implement today? Cortland.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You're saying if we, if we don't have a CSM yet and we have an EA, we can start them on doing this first. What would be like the line of like what not to cross into the responsibilities of the CSM, or is that more of like a case by case basis based on the individual's like skill set?
Yep, exactly. It's case by case basis. I like to ask the individual what they want to do. Some individuals, it's the nice thing about an EA role is that they have a lot of options, right? They can focus on becoming a CSM or becoming a social media, one of the technicians, right? Becoming a designer, a social media manager, a video editor, right? They have a lot of paths to take, and they to choose from. So it's really ask the individual what they want, and then if they truly want to be a CSM, then start allocating and delegating more and more of this stuff to your EA, and then what I would do is take and promote the EA to a CSM, and then bring on a new EA, and then let your current EA know, here's the deal. if you want to get promoted to a CSM, you have to train your protege. That's the deal.
Yeah, that's smart. And what are the price, like general price ranges that you would put on both of these roles? I know
Yeah.
they change based on location. I know you said you outsource to the Philippines, so you might have prices for that, but just curious about ballparks for both
Yeah,
levels.
ballpark, yeah. EA, roughly around 1450 a month. So 1500 bucks a month. CSMs, a little bit more, like 1700. Depending on years of experience, you could go upwards to 2000 a month for a CSM.
Okay. And is that in the Philippines or in the States, do you
Oh,
think?
in the Philippines. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Philippines.
If you're hiring in the States, we're talking like 5 to 8,000 a month.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Yep, yep. So I don't want to hold everyone here. It's if you have any questions, feel free to message me. And it's Friday. Enjoy your Friday and the weekend. And thanks again for being here. And see you next week. All right. Take care.